Hello friends, this is Worm, and Bungie recently asked for some feedback from players, and so this is my video feedback for them. Now, this is in response to the whole macro bans thing, which if you haven't seen one of the billions of other YouTube videos talking about macro bans, Bungie banned players from using macros. So if you're caught using a macro to automate gameplay, specifically automate gameplay, you can be restricted or your account can be banned. That's not what this video is about though, because a lot of people express concern for checkpoint bots, which utilize macros to automate their gameplay so that they can persistently keep a checkpoint so that players can join in, get the checkpoint, and then leave. And a lot of players express that concern that will checkpoint bots be banned or will they be restricted or anything like that? The answer is no, and Bungie already confirmed this on their Twitter, but when they post this, they asked for some feedback, and I think I have some feedback that makes sense to put in Destiny 2 that just for some reason hasn't been done yet. And I'm pretty sure we talked about this like several months ago, maybe even like a year ago or something. And that is the addition of checkpoints within the actual game itself. Now, why don't we have checkpoints, for example, in King's Fall? You know, a King's Fall checkpoint would consist of the ability to select which encounter specifically you wanted to do. You know, you click on the little, like where it says normal, and you say, okay, normal Oryx, sisters, Golgoroth, totems, war priests, whatever it is, whatever checkpoint you want, you can go directly to that location. And the reason why I think Bungie hasn't done this is, number one, probably it's just not high on their priority list. I'm not going to say they're lazy, because I'm sure that it's been toyed with and thought about and stuff like that. But I also I just don't think it's very high on their priority list, because not a lot of people are complaining about it, and not a lot of people are worried about it because of the existence of checkpoint bots. Now, there is the other reason why, is that's just Bungie has been lazy. I don't really think that's true, but another reason why maybe they have not implemented a checkpoint system in Destiny 2 is because they want to also artificially inflate their numbers. Let's say you wanted to go kill Taniks, for example. You don't know about checkpoint bots, which most players probably don't know about checkpoint bots, but you don't know about checkpoint bots. You need to go kill Taniks. You have to do all the other encounters till you get to Taniks, or whatever area you're looking for, right? You have to do all the other stuff. You have to get a team together and all this stuff, and that's just not a lot of players are willing to do that. And the players that are willing to do that, like, again, it brings up the number of active players, and we know that Bungie does things to bring up their active numbers of players, right? Like things like, was it like, having us go to the tower and then go to the helm to talk to somebody, then go back to the tower, and then go do this mission, and then go back to the helm, and all that stuff. That artificially inflates numbers. So Bungie has been known to do that. But really, I think those are probably the two primary reasons why. I think there is a tertiary reason, which could be that Bungie wants to encourage players to band together and play. And of course, if you have, somebody who wants to do a raid, they have to go find the rest of the team that's trying to do a raid. It's typically people that are on your level, y'all team together, stuff like that. Like, you can technically go out and get checkpoints for various areas. You can get, like, for example, the acquisition checkpoint from somebody in the LFG area, but at the same time, again, how many players actually use LFG? There's not a whole lot. But with that being said, I think that there are some ways you could implement this checkpoint situation pretty easily, because I think one more reason why I don't think it's been implemented, and this is actually one of the big ones, is I think there are a lot of raid encounters that players just don't want to do. Like, I don't know how many of y'all remember Acquisition back when Witch Queen first dropped. Acquisition was an encounter, or is an encounter, sorry, in Vow of the Disciple. And Acquisition is not, it's not a bad encounter, especially nowadays, everybody knows how to do it. But a couple years ago, it was a very difficult encounter because you were on a very tight timeline. And if one person messes up, that's kind of it for the entire run. You got to start all the way from scratch, and it's very difficult. If Bungie allowed players to select their checkpoints, how many people would skip things like Acquisition or Verity from Salvation's Edge? Like, how many people would just say, nope, I'm not doing those? I guarantee you that number would be pretty high. So I think that a way Bungie could implement these checkpoints without potentially ruining the game, so to speak, is for the active raid. So for example, Salvation's Edge, in order to unlock the checkpoints to do whichever area you want, you have to have beaten the raid at least once that week. So you have to clear all 5 encounters once that week. Then you have the ability to skip around and do your encounters based on the checkpoint. So once you clear Salvation's Edge, then you have the ability to go, okay, I want to skip straight to the Herald of Finality. Boom. You go in, you select Salvation's Edge, you click the little button above launch and you pick that encounter, then you fly right in. If you want to go straight to the Witness and kill the Witness, same thing. And I think also you could potentially do this for the weekly featured raid as well. But with the weekly featured raid, because these raids are pretty, like most of them are pretty old, with the exception of maybe Crota's Inn, which came out just a couple months ago, but all the other ones, they're old. I don't think it's a big deal to allow players to pick and choose their checkpoint. Not only that, but it would just make it so much faster, because like how annoying is it? You clear a checkpoint, all right, you kill Cowley, for example, in Last Wish. You're trying to farm Cowley. You kill Cowley, then you have to go hop on another character, or God forbid, you have to go find another checkpoint bot. But you hop back in on another character, you load in, you invite the fire team, then you have to leave, and it's just this long process. Bungie, like, just skip that line. Just give us the ability to jump straight to whatever checkpoint we want. That way, we don't have to worry about doing all the mess. And you know, it can save your checkpoint. For example, if you skip straight to Golgoroth, for example, in King's Fall, it'll save that checkpoint. So once you clear Golgoroth, it'll keep your checkpoint, and so you'll move on to, you know, the next area after that, the Sisters, or you know, maybe the Piston Wall, whatever you want to call it. But I think that you should still have the ability to select your checkpoint. And that would honestly, it would be a game changer for a lot of people. Because for example, Shirochi, yes, there are checkpoint bots for Shirochi, but Shirochi is always full. It is so difficult to get into Shirochi. And yes, I know the wishing wall exists and you can go in and type the code, but at the same time, the wishing wall, it takes a long time to click in all those buttons and stuff like that. And it would be so much easier for players who are just trying to maybe test out some stuff, maybe just grind some levels on their weapons, to go straight to Shirochi. And I know that this kind of goes against what Bungie has done in the past, which Bungie doesn't want it to be easy per se to farm out weapon levels. This is one of the reasons why Grasp of Avarice, the intro area, gives you weapon progress at a reduced rates. But I think that line of thinking is a little bit out of date at this point, because Shirochi exists and Shirochi is very good at leveling weapons. And all you have to do is go to a wishing wall and type it in. Like, it's just a step that is extra time that players could be used actually playing the game. And remember, like, when I'm talking about playing the game, like, even if it's, you know, not something you want players, you don't want players to go farm weapon levels at Shirochi, that's still players actively playing the game. Like, that's players getting in there, doing it. They're playing the game. They're not doing a macro or anything like that. I'm sure somebody has done a macro in the past, but going forward, you can't do that anymore, right? But, you know, it's still players actively playing the game. They're trying to level up a weapon so that they can get maybe new perks on it. Maybe they're just trying to farm XP. Maybe they're just trying to test out some really interesting builds. Like, you know, give players easy access to get to Shirochi that first time that week. And of course, it'll store your checkpoints, so you don't have to do it every single time. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on that whole, you know, that's my feedback to Bungie. Like, I know you want feedback on which checkpoints players want. Like, I want all the checkpoints easily accessible in the game with some restrictions. Again, like Salvation's Edge, I don't think that just anybody should be able to jump straight to the Witness, for example. Like, you should have to at least clear it once a week. But on the older raids or on the raid rotator, give us the ability to select the encounter that we want to do. I would say on all old raids, whether they're in the rotator, in the weekly rotator or not, give all raids the ability to select which encounter we want to jump straight to. That way it just saves time and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, that being said, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Like, what's your feedback for Bungie in regards to checkpoints and checkpoint bots? And yeah, that's it for me. Do me a favor, like the video, helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content, conversations, debates, discussions, and all that good stuff. And do me one more favor, watch the videos you see here on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you'll like them. Guys, I will see y'all next time. Bye for now.